Yeah, what it dang dizzily do? I am Zachary D, the Palsy Papa, and this is the Daily Decompression. How is everybody today? Hump day. We are halfway through. Just stick with me. Let's do this. You can do it, by the way. You do have the ability to do it. You are strong enough. You will make it through. I wanted to talk a little bit though about something that occurs to me will occasionally happen over the course of somebody with cerebral palsy's life. You will 100% be discriminated against because of your handicap. It's true. There's no there's no there's no way around it. Some people are just going to discriminate against you because of the palsy. I want to tell a couple of stories about this. Well, one in particular. My first job, I ended up working at a fast food restaurant. This was back in the time where standard procedure was to go and talk to the manager and ask for an application, shake their hand, introduce yourself, so on, so forth, what have you. Well, the issue that I ran into, and let me tell you, we went around, my mom carried me around to several places because this was actually, I was getting a job right around the same time that I was learning how to drive, or should I better say, attempting to drive. Um, and it became problematic in the sense that she would take me somewhere and they would magically be out of applications. They would be out, or I would get a chance to go turn in one or two, and they just wouldn't call me back. This happened, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 times. I mean, various different places. Until my stepdad, who is a cop or was a cop in the city in which I ended up employed, went and talked to the manager himself and got me an interview, set me down. Here's what you're gonna do. Talked about my um, ability and different things like that. And to be honest with you, the only reason I got this job was because of the fact that my stepdad spoke to the manager, and I guess cashed in a favor. I'm not real sure what the um, ultimate reason was, but nothing changed. Oh, and I guess it's important to note I had applied to this particular McDonald's before. Um, I was told they were out of applications, and I ended up going back a few times. Ended up getting one, turning it in, and nothing. And it's, to be honest with you, it is really um it's really kind of an interesting thing where I knew that I wouldn't have gotten this job without my stepdad. That's just a fact. I didn't change anything. Nothing changed about me. So to know that I'm working with people who otherwise I would not have been if my stepdad did not intervene, it's really strange because it's like, do you even want me working here? And I think the answer is no. They didn't want me working here. because I wasn't able to do a lot of the things that you would expect of a fast food employee. And it hurt. It hurt. It's probably the first time in my life that I had to come face to face with the idea that no, I can't do whatever I want. No, no matter how much effort I put behind it, I am not going to be getting behind that grill professionally. It's just too much of a liability for them. I don't necessarily blame the people at this particular McDonald's for feeling the way that they felt or not allowing me an opportunity at first without cashing in a favor. No, why would I blame them? That's goofy. But it does hurt. And I think anybody listening to this who has been in this spot needs to know that um, somebody will give you a chance. You need to make sure you're not going after jobs that are just way outside of your ability. You need to make sure to play up the aspects of yourself that are useful to employers, which is why I'm in the contact space now. I can obviously talk. I spend hours a week on YouTube talking to you guys. Um, so do that. Any younger uh, disabled people who happen to be watching this video or later they see this video and they start entering the workforce, they need to understand that somebody will give you a chance. At some point, the right employer will come along 100%, um, and you will um, definitely be given a shot. But at first, the rejection is terrible. It sucks. There's no way around it. It's bad. Um, oh, and I guess I should tell you guys because I'm a terrible host. We're playing Heroes of the Storm tonight. It's a game that I used to play every single day without fail. Um, I put it down for years until fairly recently, and picking it back up again. I really enjoy this game. Not as with most games, not very good at it, but it is a game I rather enjoy. So that's what we're doing while we're having this discussion. But how did I get over these feelings like people I'm working with don't even want me here? Um, I don't even need to be here. I'm only here because my uh, stepdad got me a job. Um, I'm not here because I deserve to be. In fact, I may be taking a spot from somebody more deserving. How did I get over that? How did I get over that and remain with this place for for um 2 years? I worked there for 2 years. How? Well, the answer is simple. I did the job they would let me do, and I did it well. Customers rather enjoyed me. I was a good um I was good for the face of the company, I guess is one way I could put it. Um and that's one of the things that I continued to do, and I maintained that job for 2 years. Also, by the way, the standards in fast food for being a good employee, not that hard. Um Part of how I did it was freaking show up when they called. If they called me to work, you can bet your keister that I was there ready to work. Factoids. Um, so it's part of it. I was there to work when other people weren't. Um, yeah, I could only run the register. I could bag food or whatever, but I was there to do those things when other people in fact, were not available. So, um, that was definitely a positive and a big reason why I maintained my employment there for as long as I did. And I guess that's my point here. My point is, if you get a shot somewhere and you happen to have a handicap, um, to be really frank, you might not get a shot um, at another place for a while. So you need to be willing to make the most of that opportunity when others won't. Because let me tell you, able bodied people sometimes take an opportunity for granted. Guess what you can't do? Guess what you cannot, as a handicapped um, person, take an opportunity like that for granted. If somebody's willing to give you a chance, you got to take it, buddy. You have to absolutely 100% take that opportunity and run with it. Run. Run with it. Be willing to do what others won't. Be willing to show up when they won't. Be the kind of employee that your employer is looking for. 100%. Do it all. Um, don't don't do the thing where you think you're too good for a job. Let me tell you a secret. Um, if you need money, you're not too good for any job. You may take a job and look for other opportunities. Um, you may take a job and look for other opportunities, but you're not too good for a particular job. I promise. I promise you are not. Um, you can absolutely do any job that they will give you a shot to do. There's a reason they gave you a shot to do it. So take it and run with it. But you are going to face discrimination in the sense that you 100% will. It will be harder for you to get a job. People aren't going to want to take a chance on you. That's not a thing. That's some employers just won't take a chance. They absolutely will make assumptions about your ability without asking. And this happens not just in professionally, but when you are dating, it can happen and it will happen. Some I've had people who, now bear in mind I'm married now, but I wasn't always married, and I had a date just like anybody else. But my experience dating wasn't just like anybody else. It was a lot different, honestly. It was significantly different because I was conscious of the fact that maybe not everybody wanted to be with a handicapped person. Maybe that's not a thing they wanted to do. So I would always, 100% of the time, um, explain to them that what my situation is and exactly what that means and all that type of stuff. The issue is nobody seemed to um, want to offend me at first, and they would be like, "Yeah, it's cool, no problem. I'm sure it won't cause us any difficulties at all." Um, but when it came down to it, I didn't get a lot of callbacks. I didn't. Um, Second dates were pretty rare. So the truth is, they had a problem from the beginning. So this part of discrimination goes out to people on the other end, people on the other side of the equation. If you have a problem and it's you think that somebody's disability is going to be a problem, value them enough to say something. don't you're not a nice person for um leading them to believe that something isn't an issue when it is. So if you're an employer um who is hiring somebody or looking to hire somebody who has a disability, be willing to say, hey, the job entails this. Are you sure you can do that? One of the questions I ask all the time is how much um how much driving do you want me to do in this job? Because I know that driving is a big deal for me. It 100% is. There's no way around it. I'm not going to all of a sudden learn how, I'm not going to find a way to drive. I'm not going to find a way to drive all of a sudden that makes this better. That was a really I'm sorry. I That was a really frustrating team fight loss there. In fact, it might lose us the match. Um I probably misplayed there a bit, but that was frustrating. But be willing to tell somebody, "Hey, listen, um this is not going to work because I'm more hurt um if you tell me that my disability is not a problem and then it turns out low key that it is because I have to assume things like, "Oh, it's me as a person," because nobody ever comes back and says, "Hey, you didn't get this job because you were disabled." They can't. That's discrimination or whatever. But or and but in your personal life, you should be able to say that. You should be um talking to somebody that you're thinking about dating or this, that, and the third, and you should absolutely. They can't tell you that professionally, but in your personal life, they absolutely could. Um, they could say, yeah, that's going to be a problem for me, man. Absolutely, no doubt, that's a problem. Um, that is not a thing I think I can deal with, and you know what? That's okay. Um, I think it is absolutely unreasonable for us as disabled people to assume that everybody should be okay with dealing with your disability. No, absolutely not. Um, there's That's not fair. Because to be frank, I don't like dealing with all able-bodied people. So why is that different? I messed up there. They win. Why is that different? Why is that? Why is it okay for me not to deal with a disabled person um, because they're an ass wagon or whatever, but it's not okay with the same energy for somebody not to deal with me for being a disabled person? And to be honest with you, if I'm gonna be if my disability is gonna be a problem, if my disability is a problem, I don't want to be around you anyway. So tell me up front, tell me from jump that it's gonna be an issue, and then we can part ways. Like, hey, thanks for the honesty, friend. Um, no, no need to push it any further. I'm not gonna put out no social media hate book, cancel culture type ish on you. Thanks for the honesty. I really appreciate you. Thanks for keeping it 1,000, and that's that. There's no reason to push it any further. So that's what I'm saying. able bodied people, be more honest, be more upfront. And if our disability is going to cause you problems, just say it. At the same time, if you have questions about what our disability means and how it affects our ability to do things, because guess what? Everyone's different. There is no one disability fits all type energy out here. Everybody is different. Their abilities are different. Their disabilities are different. So ask, hey, how does it work in this aspect or that aspect or whatever questions you might have? Um, Ask, say something. But it is 100% okay for you to not be attracted to somebody because they have a disability. It is 100% okay for you um to want to say one way or another that that's not your bag, not um your thing to deal with. Definitely it is okay. And and you know, the disabled person might say something and be hurt um initially, but for me personally, I would have been 100% more okay with those people who I came and was upfront with um about my disability to just say, "Hey, that checklist you gave me is not going to work." Not to say, "Nah, it's not going to be a problem. Nah, it's not going to be this or it's not going to be that or um this that or the third. It's not going to be one way or another." But I don't lie to me. You don't have to lie. You do not have to lie to me and tell me it's going to be okay when you know probably before we ever met that it wasn't going to be okay. Or if I tell you I walk with a limp or I can't walk that well, I don't drive, woo woo woo. Oh, no problem. I like to drive. There is one person in my dating life who has been honest with me about that. One singular person. One. That's it. Not two, not one, or not two, not three, not negative one, but one person that has been honest with me about that from the very start. And you know who that is? That's my wife. My wife was the singular person who I believed her when she said it's not going to be a problem. And my disability has never been a problem for her, not once, not ever. And I'll also say that contrary to what they tell you, and by they I mean most people, not dating and marriage not for everybody. You will find people in your life that do not discriminate against you, are honest with you about how they feel about dis- how they feel about your disability. You will find those people. I am a living example of that. And yes, I am married. And yes, this is my wife. And yes, say hi, Jamie.
Hi.
But this is the one person, the singular person who, when I was dating, I said just like everybody else, "Hey, I have this handicap. Hey, I have this problem. Hey, um, this, that, and the third." And she said to me, "There, no problem. And I believed her, but it took me almost 30 years of my life to get to that point. So what I'm saying to you right now is if that's something you want, fight for it, because as disabled people, we've got to fight harder for what we want. Because people are going to look at you sideways. They're going to feel some type of way about you. Just off looking at you, they're going to make assumptions about your character, your ability. They're going to make assumptions. But I am living proof that if you fight for what you want, you will get it 100%. And I think I'm being loud right now because I'm excited. Jamie's looking at me like, my ears hurt. I'm probably being a little bit loud because this is a topic that I could probably make an entire channel on this one topic because it pisses me off that people will assume things about you and your character just based on how you look. How often, Jamie? How often we walk into a room and you catch people staring before I do? Yeah, I'm trying to make sure they can hear you. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. This was kind of impromptu. I didn't plan on this being the ending to the video today. Yeah, you were saying?
Basically, anytime we walk into a restaurant and you have the wait staff, you have the hostess.
With this video is that you're going to get discriminated against. There's no way around it. There's zero thing you can do about it. You have to realize that those people who are looking at you sideways, they either have questions they're too afraid to ask you. They're curious. They want to know more, or they're people you don't want in your life anyway. Promise. Nobody worth a damn will look at you sideways, harbor judgment, and then not try and resolve it. I'm sure every one of my friends has had questions at some point about what I can and can't do, but my best friends don't even bring it up. It's not even a question, bruh. Fire, John, Bob, Steven, Carlin. Who? Who am I missing?
Said Hydra, not John.
Oh, I gave you grief over that. I'm pretty sure at this point we've hosed that at some point in the videos. Um, all my friends from church,
Yeah.
Mark, uh, Dan, everybody, nobody has questioned it. They don't even ask, and if they ask because they know me and they're curious. So the thing I want to leave you with in this video is, yes, you're gonna fight through some discrimination. Yes, that's gonna be a problem. But if you fight for what you want and you want a job, there is a job you are physically able to do, I promise. And you can be a functioning member of society. You can create something. You are important. I don't care what anybody else tells you in your life. You're going to have people who look at you sideways. Not everybody's going to like you. Some people won't like you just based on some things that aren't even related to your disability. There are plenty of people who don't like me specifically because I dang dizzily do it. And yeah, that's just who I am. But there are plenty of people who don't like that. So I want to leave you in the middle of this third week of my channel. It's 3 weeks, baby. We're on the 3-peat. Let's go. Third week of my channel. Fight for what you want. And anybody who also be willing to answer questions, by the way. Don't assume if somebody asks you questions, they have malintent. They just might not know. Answer questions, particularly from kids. Answer the questions. And when the parents come up to them like, oh, you can't ask. Yeah, they can. Let them ask. You didn't teach them, so I got to. Good times.
It's best to teach and not to teach them to ignore.
Amen. I am Zachary D, the Palsy Papa. As always, lick that like button, scribble that subscribe button, and tickle that notification pickle, and commentate on the video. And don't be tripping, because I'm still crippin'. See you guys tomorrow.